Bulletcast for life.
Get up, this is a revolution. This is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes.
Hey guys, Podfather here. There is a background noise at the tail end of the episode, but don't worry about that. It's still a great listen all throughout the rest of the episode. We talk Brawl for All, Dark Side of the Ring. We discuss AEW, the TNT Championship Tournament, Chris Jericho, Le Champion, and Tony Schiavone on commentary. BC coming at you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case if you don't, I'm a 24-year-old piece of gold, the messiah of the microphone of the greatest sports recreational podcast in the world today, the Podfather. And you know what? If Brody Lee can be the exalted one, I could be the essential one, since I'm essential to the community. Because I'm still working, ladies and gentlemen. But you know I never do these alone. He's my tag team partner, the Jimmy to my J, the Teller to my Arn, the Stevie Ray to my Booker T, the host of the award-winning Under the Radar host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, the Canadian Destroyer, first ever Bulletcast champion, BT Brandon Tan Guma. BT, how you doing today on this fine Thursday afternoon?
You know, Phillip, I'm doing okay. This quarantine has messed up my sleep schedule a little bit, so I might be a little tired. So if I say anything stupid, like I tend to do in the past, I'm going to blame it on that.
You've had some doozies on this show, man.
And it was like Snitsky. It wasn't my fault.
There you go. Did you see the Snitsky? Where are they now on the network?
You know, I saw it on the thingy with Eva Marie, and I was like, oh, good for them. I know where Eva Marie is. I follow her on the Instagram. I don't need to know.
Well, there you go, man. You know, Kelly Keller's actually the host of that show now, so the streak continues. You
know, I just followed her on TikTok, so can't wait to see all the stuff she has on there.
Who? Kelly Keller?
Because I know you're such a big TikTok guy.
If it's posted on Instagram, I will see it. I will not actually download the app. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to. I bet I am, dude. I'm sorry. I'll probably just find like a YouTube compilation of TikToks, you know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk Dark Side of the Ring, the Brawl for All. So the Brawl for All. Oh God, where do we start? So apparently the Brawl for All got started because Vince Russo got tired of JBL when he was Bradshaw at the time. Saying that he could beat anybody's ass if this was real. And then so Vince Russo apparently comprised this whole tournament around that. And they would take like 16 underutilized guys, or 16-8 underutilized guys. You had Bart Gunn, you had Godfather, you had Bradshaw, you had Dr. Death Steve Williams, you had Bob Holly, you know, you had all these guys in this tournament. And the winner would get like $75,000, and yeah, so this was going on for, I think it happened for about like 3 months, and you know, guys were getting injured and knocked out and loopy, and you know, it's just one of those very, very interesting concepts that WWE did back in the day, and honest to God, knew nothing about the Brawl for All. I always heard about it. I'd seen clips, but I never really knew like what the backstory was, so thank God for Dark Side of the Ring for this. Brandon, did you watch the episode, and what's your take on the Brawl for All concept?
Of course I watched it, Phillip, because, you know, I had to do it for the podcast. I mean, this one, I'd probably say it was my least favorite out of the three. I didn't really learn too much about it. I mean, I kind of learned a little bit about the inner workings and their relationships behind the scenes, but we all knew Jim Cornette hates Vince Russo's guts, and Vince Russo hates Jim Cornette, so, I mean, that wasn't really anything new. I mean, there was a lot of finger pointing, everyone just kind of dodging blame, everyone just kind of blaming Vince Russo, and Vince Russo, you know, just being Vince Russo, I guess, but, I mean, overall, I think not the creators, but like the writers like Jim Ross, Cornette, and Vince Russo didn't come off super, you know, sympathetic or whatever. I think the stars were definitely Draws and Bart Gunn. I mean, it was only an hour. I didn't learn too much about it because I kind of already knew most of the stuff that they were talking about. If you want to learn more, I would suggest go and listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast. He did one. They used some clips on the episode itself, so recommend you guys go check that out if you want to learn more about the Brawl for All.
Yeah, man. We got to see draws. We got to see what he's doing now, and I still feel terribly bad for him. I like how they worked in what happened to him into this episode too. So that was really nice. Got to see D'Lo. And yeah, man. I would have liked if they had tried to get JBL. I know he has ties to WWE. He's going to the Hall of Fame this year, but I thought that would have been very interesting to get him. And it's always great when Cornette buries Vince Russo. You gotta love it. But yeah, so Bart Gunn ends up winning because they didn't think he would knock out Dr. Death. Excuse me, Jesus. Oh, the reflux of the Diet Coke is really coming back. And yeah, they didn't think he would knock out Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and when he did, they were like, we didn't think he would win, you know? So he was sitting at home for months and months on end, and then WrestleMania 15 rolls around, and he's going up against Butterbean, who's a kickboxer and a boxer, just this short, stout, 425-pound guy. Nice to see Butterbean in the thing, too, you know? And Butterbean just knocks him out or whatever, and that was the end of Bart Gunn in the WWE. Apparently, the Brawl for All concept was supposed to be brought back when NXT first debuted, when it was the game show mentality. So I think that's interesting if we would see like Titus O'Neil versus Wade Barrett, or Heath Slater versus David Otunga. You know, it's just Daniel Bryan versus Ryback. You know, just weird stuff like that. I think that would have been. It wouldn't have been a great idea, but I think just the concept and the size matchups would have been very, very interesting.
Philip, if we had a Brawl for All today in WWE, taking away Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, the two guys who have a lot of MMA,
some shoot
history,
fighting experience,
who do you think would win?
Oh man, let me think. I'm trying to think, man. I have to really look at the roster, dude. Brawl. I might go. Could we throw Big Show in there? He had a match. He had a match on WrestleMania Raw. I think I might have to go Show. You know, I know you don't like his knockout punch finisher, but like you can't tell me that if Big Show legit punches you in the face, you're not getting knocked the F out. Come on now, man. Yeah. I'll
trying to go over the roster right now. I think Samoa Joe is someone who's tough, but he is a little older, so we saw in the Brawl for All that a lot of older people, or not older people, but a lot of people are going down with injuries, so that one might not be too hot. I think a sleeper pick, I think I would go with Andrade.
Really? He hits that spinning back elbow?
He just looks like a tough Mexican who could knock somebody out.
There you go. Oh, yeah, so the Brawl for All, interesting. Next week is the Jimmy Snuka episode, and I wasn't woke to Jimmy Snuka until a good buddy, King of the Hill, he's been on the show. He was on our 100th episode when we did the Casty Awards for, I think it was, 2018? Yeah, he woke me up to Snuka's game, and I'm like, oh, man, that's terrible. So I'm very interested to see that episode. I'm very, very curious to see how they're going to go about that. What are you looking forward to anything in the Snuka episode?
I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's something that some people knew back in the day, and now I think because it came back to light a few years back because he had I don't know if it was a civil trial or whatever, but he was convicted of it later on in life. So I think a lot more people know about it now, but it's something that hasn't really been covered in pro wrestling, so it'll be interesting to see who they get, what they can talk about, because obviously, I mean, the Snuka family itself, or I mean, Tamina and all them, I don't know if they're willing to talk, but it seemed it had Jungle Kid or whatever was a snippet that was used for him, so who knows who's going to be used in the documentary.
Absolutely. The week after that is Dino Bravo, and then we have Dr. Dave Schultz, Herb Abrams and the UWF, the Road Warriors, and then May 19th is the final one. We talk about Owen Hart. I'm really looking forward to that one, Apparently, Martha, his widow, she and her son, I think it's I can't pronounce it, I forgot his name, but they went back to the arena, a few months after he had died, and they walked the catwalk to kind of see what went wrong, so that's going to be very, very interesting to find out what happened there, because all I know about the Owen Hart thing is that he fell and he died. I've seen his matches, I know unbelievable talent, and performer and wrestler that Owen was, but just to get a little insight to what actually may have went wrong there, I think that's going to be very interesting. You?
Well, he was scared of heights. He didn't want to do it in the first place, but they said, "Oh, it's fine. We have everything under control." And then they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, they had everything under control for Shawn when he ziplined. All right, moving on from that, we have to talk about Edge's WWE 24. It's one of the best 24s WWE's done, just because of the story. And if you know me, you know I'm a huge Edge mark. He's in my top 10. He has the greatest spear of all time. I will argue that to death. I will. It's amazing, man. Just I didn't realize he got that second surgery a year after he retired, and he could have come back a lot sooner, but he didn't. He just stayed away, and for the longest time, he was like the one guy that actually stayed retired. Him and Austin, and Shawn Michaels too. Yep, I said it. Shawn Michaels never came back. That never happened. No, but seriously, man, it was an incredible documentary to see. His training, and I didn't even know he got Dash Wilder to the WWE, so that was awesome to see that kind of come full circle, and Wilder help him get ready for his in-ring return, and just looking tip-top shape at 46 years old, and then behind the scenes at the Rumble. Yeah, man, it was great. It was full of emotions. It brought me back to that day. I was in a Starbucks with a Flo, and Edge's music hit, and I popped, and all the baristas were looking at me like I was insane. So it was just an awesome piece. WWE always does amazing work with these documentaries and these 24s. Brandon, what's your take on the Edge WWE 24?
It was a nice change of pace compared to all these Dark Side of the Ring documentaries I've been watching. So it was a nice happy ending, a nice it was a pretty long episode. It was like an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. I mean, they told a great story. Edge even talked about it that originally that this wasn't even supposed to be about his comeback. It was just about him at SummerSlam, how his life was after wrestling. And then just it kind of evolved, and they followed him through his training. It was fun to see him wrestle in the little warehouse with Dash Wilder and Beth Phoenix. The only negative I got to say about this whole episode is because the Royal Rumble took place in Houston. Edge, they had to sequester him in the manager's office, so there was a lot of Houston Astro logos everywhere during the documentary at the back half of it, which triggered me a lot, but I was able to grit my teeth and get through it.
It's okay, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but it's Edge. It's the 9-year hiatus and coming back and being able to go out on your own terms. I mean, the way he went out, like, we're going to talk about that later on in the show. Your last match, WrestleMania, you're the world champ. There's no better way to go out. But I get you wanna go out on your own terms. I understand that. Yeah, man. So it was great, and I don't know, man. I'm just excited for Edge's return. I can't wait for the matches that he can potentially have. Since he beat Randy Orton, who do you want to see Edge go up against next? Brandon? Hello?
Phillip, you cut out there for a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Who do you want to see Edge go up against next since he beat Randy Orton at WrestleMania?
Well, I think there's a long list of people that you could possibly go over. I mean, I think he got some... on the Raw side, the heels, I mean, Edge and AJ Styles is kind of the one that stands out to me. He's kind of the one heel that I can kind of think of off the top. I don't know if Edge wants to turn heel, go, Real Radar superstar, but you could do some fantasy matchups with Kevin Owens. In the documentary, Kevin Owens is one of the guys that Edge was kind of familiar with before he came back. Alistair Black seems like a good matchup. Drew McIntyre. Maybe if Drew drops it to somebody, Edge can go for the title, or maybe just Drew turns heel itself, and Edge can go and face Drew McIntyre later on down the road.
The one I want to see is Edge versus Seth Rollins, and here's why. Edge and Christian came back, I think it was like December of 2014, and this is when the Authority was running roughshod and Cena was feuding with Rollins. Rollins had his foot on Edge's neck, and he was like, if you don't... this is when John had the power to reinstate the Authority. And Seth was like, if you don't reinstate them, I'm gonna break his neck for real, or break his neck again. And yeah, man. So that was, I think, Seth needs a receipt for that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that seems very logical for that to happen. They've told long form stories before. I mean, especially with Bray Wyatt and John Cena, they were calling back to 6 years ago, so hopefully they can do the same with that. I kind of forgot about that, but when he brought it up, it makes total sense. And technically, AJ Styles is dead, so I don't know if we're ever going to see him again. And Seth Rollins,
hey, dude,
is not dead.
I mean, Adam Cole is dead, but then there's an Adam Cole in NXT, so.
Well, I mean, he's just a ghost.
That's true. There is a ghost as the NXT champion. All right, we have some pretty sad news. APW referee Jacob Lee has passed away, and unfortunately, pretty sudden. I don't know what was the cause of death, but yeah, man, I do remember watching him referee in all these APW shows I've gone to. Most notably, the Cow Palace show, where it was the world's cutest tag team going up against Colt Cabana and Tessa Blanchard back in 2017. So, very saddened that APW lost a member of the team. R.I.P. And thoughts, prayers, and condolences are going out to his family and close friends. Brandon?
Yeah, shout out him, all his friends and family affected by the loss, especially during this tough time. So, yeah, thoughts and prayers.
All right. Super bad. Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford they got engaged. They're going to be getting married. Isn't that awesome?
Good for them.
Damn, she went from Joey Geneva to super bad Kip Sabian. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Penelope Ford, great talent, underrated.
Matt, criminally underrated, just like Sonya Deville and Tamina. All right, this is Brandon's territory. We're gonna talk some NXT. So, due to travel restrictions because of the unfortunate circumstances, I guess that's just the term that WWE throws around. Due to the coronavirus COVID-19, Jordan Devlin cannot defend the NXT Cruiserweight title, so then there has been a tournament that will be taking place to determine an interim NXT Cruiserweight champion. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's on NXT. It's a way to get a lot of people and fill TV time. The Cruiserweight Championship hasn't been too much of a focal point on NXT recently. I mean, Jordan Devlin, I think he popped up the week after he won it. Maybe he came back a few weeks after that. But if you listen to my Under the Radar, which I know I haven't done in a while because there hasn't really been a lot of news to talk about, I don't really understand the reasoning for the Cruiserweight Championship on NXT. They haven't been using it. It's just it goes 205 Live, NXT UK, just kind of bounces all over the place. But I understand with the travel restrictions, they could do something very similar to a tournament for the tag team championships because Pete Dunne is stuck over there in the UK. Who knows when all this travel restrictions will be lifted, but an interim NXT Cruiserweight Championship tournament seems like a lot of fun. You can pull, people from NXT, Raw, SmackDown. I've been very vocal about this recently that I feel like Kushida should be, if he's not going to do anything in the heavyweight or North American tournament championship scene, he should be a focal point in the Cruiserweight division.
Oh yeah, I mean, didn't they sign Alex Shelley? Aren't the Time Splitters back together?
I don't know if it was signed, but it was a one-off a few weeks ago or months ago.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, in that case, moving on. This day in wrestling, there was the Raw in 2018, and Bobby Lashley made his WWE return after about a 10-year hiatus. And then today is Bianca Belair's birthday. The EST of WWE. Spoiler alert, she's 31 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday to the EST.
Happy birthday.
There we go. You gonna sing happy birthday?
No, because you gotta pay millions of dollars for that.
Ah, that's true. We'll sing the Stevie Wonder version. You don't have to pay that much. Alright, moving on. Fan mail. We don't have that much today, ladies and gentlemen. Jack of all trades. AEW has continued to excel with no audience and having wrestlers at ringside really enjoy these shows. Yeah, man, they're doing that very well, and I think WWE needs to pick that up. It just makes for the show to feel like there's it's normal, All right, Hootie Who 420.
Hootie Who.
So did Drew McIntyre get 2 wins at WrestleMania? If so, fucking workhorse. If not, well then, what was the point? We'll talk about that once we get to Monday Night Raw. All right, and then last up we have AJ. He was on the first ever episode of the Bullet Cast. Shout out to him, man. All those 165 weeks ago. What direction do you see WWE taking Drew McIntyre after winning at Mania? And what would your fantasy feud that you would want to see him involving in? That's worded weirdly. I don't know. I think we talked about that a little bit. I mean, Orton, Rollins, and AJ, they all lost at Mania, and they're all the top heels on Raw. So, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know where he could go. Brandon?
Yeah, I think maybe you could look to calling somebody up, but because NXT and a lot of those people are local to the Florida area that you could just bring in. But, I mean, yeah, as you said, AJ, Seth, Orton, heels all lost. If it was up to me, I think maybe you'd just go with AJ. I think AJ could, maybe get the best match out of those three. I mean, no offense to Rollins or Orton, but I think AJ could be a good little, a good veteran to kind of pull Drew along and kind of help him out on this during these uncertain times.
That's true. When AJ comes back, I think he needs to switch up the look a little bit. I think we need to get the Bullet Club haircut, AJ, where it's not too long, it's not too short, just like kind of right there.
But he would just have the same haircut as Bayley.
No, he wouldn't. Bayley's has more of a part. AJ's doesn't have a part. I've talked to a couple of hairstylists to confirm me saying on this show, so I know.
There are sources to tell you this.
Yes, absolutely. Or, he can go back to clean cut AJ from TNA. That'd be nice. No, you wouldn't like that?
I was trying to make a joke, but I couldn't think of anything.
Wow. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. We're really speeding through this episode. I love it. Asuka defeats Liv Morgan because you only live once. Shout out Liv Morgan. Underrated talent. God damn it. She should beat Becky for the title. I said it.
Shout out Liv Morgan. She's been getting a lot of work recently. She got a win at WrestleMania, the pre-show, but it still counts, damn it. Asuka, I think she's been kind of an unsung hero during these quarantined Raws. She's been, I feel like she's been on like almost every episode of Raw and SmackDown. She's doing everything. She does commentary. I think they like her style of yelling and kind of filling up the room with voice and not making it too awkward. So, I mean, Asuka in the running for MVP during these quarantine WWE shows.
Yes, Asuka MVP during these uncertain times. Yes. Doop.
Yes.
You're not going to give me one back?
We can't do it every episode, Philip. Then it just ruins the gimmick. You got to make them special.
All right, you're right, man. You're right. We'll make them special. All right, moving on. There was a lot of convolutedness. So the Street Profits were going to defend against Austin Theory and Angel Garza. There was a DQ. Bianca Belair comes out there, so she's wrestling Zelina Vega. Then there's a DQ in that. And then so we're just going to make it a 6-person tag team match, player. And the Street Profits and Bianca Belair defeat Angel Garza, Austin Theory, and Zelina Vega. Thoughts?
Well, normally Zelina Vega wears, very nice-looking clothes, street clothes, but for some reason, she came out to the ring to manage her two business associates in wrestling gear. And what do you know? What are the odds of her being in a match with Bianca Belair right after that? I mean, she must have known something or had an inkling that something was going to happen because she didn't want to wrestle in her regular tights or whatever. But, just a coincidence of all that I've never seen before. Zelina Vega wearing wrestling gear and then she just happens to have a match afterwards.
Yeah, man. I mean, maybe she just felt like putting on the gear. You never know. You never know that, man.
I don't know.
I don't know either. All right, Alistair Black defeats Apollo Cruz. Brandon, when we went to SmackDown, wasn't Apollo Crews there? He was. I remember. He had a match with Sheamus. So did he just switch brands like that?
Well, apparently, according to Tom Phillips, Apollo Crews was switched over to Raw because of an expired draft pick. Whatever the hell that means. Even though I think technically they did the trade with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss over to SmackDown, and there was like a player to be named later, which they could have used in this situation, but they didn't. I don't know. It made no sense.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, thoughts on the match?
The match went, damn near 30 minutes. They had I think 3 commercial breaks in it. Really good match, but I think we're going to have to wait and see what they do with Apollo Crews. We've seen him get kind of stop and start pushes for the past however many years he's been on the main roster, but I just think it might have hurt Alistair Black in the long run more than it helped Apollo Crews. Maybe we're going to see Apollo Crews get a push and he's going to be a big deal going forward. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it was just more, we got these 2 guys, they can wrestle for a half hour, we need to fill time, we're not going to have a WrestleMania match from years past like they've been doing. So the match was great. I don't know if I'd say great, but it was really good, but yet I just don't like that it probably damaged Alistair Black in the long run.
That's a possibility. You can build Alistair back up pretty quickly. Look at Drew. He had been built up, stopped, built up, stopped, built up, and then he finally won the damn title. So, it can happen for anybody, really. Moving on from that, what else happened on Monday Night Raw? Cedric Alexander and Ricochet got a big win over Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan.
Shout out Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan from NXT. Throw him up. And Tom Phillips can't tell them apart, even though one, they might be bald with beards, but one has an American flag and one has the United Kingdom flag. Just come on. So easy to tell them apart.
Oh, Tom Phillips. Oh. I miss Vic Joseph. I really do. He was winning me over, man.
They're all irreplaceable.
That's very true. All right, Seth Rollins defeats. Oh man, what does that even say? We have a name for the talent, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I don't think I can pronounce this one. Brandon?
Dijonette.
Oh, there we go. He defeats Dijonette. Yeah, Rollins was upset after his loss at WrestleMania to KO, and he just comes out there, beats him, curb stomps him, and that's it.
Pretty self-explanatory. Fine squash match. I think maybe this might lead in the direction of Rollins being in the main event title picture. No Edge to speak of, so we don't know how long they're going to be away. Maybe I don't think they're going to go back to the Edge Orton feud, but good to see Rollins get back on track. But yeah,
absolutely. Nia Jax makes her return. She's not like most girls, and she defeats Deonna Purrazzo. You gotta love it.
You do gotta love it. Come back after a double knee surgeries, because she wouldn't have 4 knees. But anyways, Nia Jax, I feel as though maybe they should have built this up more. I think they could have built up more things on Raw to get a better rating. You could have not outright said what was going to happen in the Drew McIntyre Big Show thing, but you could have hinted that it was going to be something different than, because I just kind of assumed it was going to be Brock Lesnar laying him out, but it was something completely different. But Nia Jax, I feel like you should have advertised this a little bit better. She looked good. She is using the Rampage now. She got the blessing of Paige to use that cradle whatever DDT thing, which I think is a good move. It's a lot better than the Samoan drop. It looks more devastating. It's something that she can do because she's not like most girls. I don't know if you know this, Philip.
She's not like most girls. Nia Jax out here winning for him. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Yeah, I do like that she's using the Rampage now. It looks devastating for a woman of her size and stature, and I think that's a big win.
Nia Jax, also on the TikTok.
Oh, dude, I've seen her TikToks. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Nia Jax.
Have you seen the TikTok of all the women's wrestlers being together and they're changing into their wrestling gear?
Yes, I have seen that, and I love everything about it. Gotta love it.
See, there you go, Philip. You like TikTok.
If it's on Instagram, yes. Will I actually go on the app and download it? No, I won't. I won't do that. Because I'm a grown man, and we've had this conversation last week.
But when you're laying in bed at 2 a.m., you gotta watch something because you've watched all the YouTube. Nobody's tweeted anything. You got gone through all the thirst traps. Then you can just scroll through TikTok for 45 minutes and then get Megan Thee Stallion stuck in the head. In your head.
Then you just go on your Netflix or your Hulu or your Pluto TV or your HBO or your ESPN Plus or Disney Plus. There's all these...
Pluto TV, is that like an offshoot of Disney Plus where it's just Pluto episodes?
No, Pluto TV is like free television, man. You didn't know about this?
I don't know about this.
Yeah, see. There are all these things you can do. You don't have to sit on TikTok. Come on.
My grandpa had Pluto TV back in the day, but back in the day it wasn't a streaming service. It was just you steal the cable from the neighbors next door.
That's pretty illegal.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
We don't do anymore.
Oh, there you go. I would hope not, dude. It's 2020. We shouldn't be doing anything like that. Drew McIntyre defeats Big Show in the WrestleMania after show as he's getting interviewed. Big Show comes out there, and he retains his WWE Championship. So technically, Drew McIntyre 2 wins at WrestleMania, right?
I mean, I guess. Logistically speaking, I don't understand why he had the match and then he left and then came back 20 minutes after to cut a promo and do all this. That part didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but if you ignore that,
no,
I liked it.
You have to go in the back, kind of soak it in. Like, I'm the champion of the world. I'm holding the title of record, and then like you need me to do some media. Okay, I've had my personal time. I'll go do that. That's what happened.
But anyways, we got the Big Show turning heel for the 4,736th time. So that was fun to see. And the Big Show, shout out to the Big Show show. I have not seen it on Netflix yet, but since we're running out of content, might have a review coming soon. The match was fine. I mean, the Big Show not too much bigger than Drew McIntyre. Maybe the Big Show shrieking in his old age. But, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good, probably the best you could have imagined from a Big Show Drew McIntyre match.
I don't know. Big Show's had some really great matches in his day. I was a fan of this feud with Sheamus back in the day. The Hell in a Cell 2012. Sheamus goes for that bro kick. Show just sidesteps him, throws that punch, knocks him out, becomes a world champion. Yeah, I think Big Show still has some great ones left in him. Like his stuff he did with Strowman a couple years ago was really nice. So look out, Big Show. He still has a couple classics left in him. Trust me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, AEW Dynamite! We kick off with Jake the Snake Roberts cutting a promo about Cody and calling him Caesar. So this Jake the Snake, still a hell of a promo all these years later, man. What are your thoughts?
Fantastic promo to start it off. I like the story of the heels saying that if Cody loses, that he did it on purpose. Maybe setting up the fact that Cody will make it all the way to the finals, but Lance Archer will be the one that doesn't make it all the way to the finals. Not saying he's going to lose, but maybe he gets disqualified or does something to make himself not be there at the end. And you can kind of delay this later on down the line to where you can have it in front of a live crowd or whatever they want to do. But, good start to the show. Kind of different. I don't think we've really seen that before in AEW, just having a sit-down back vignette to start off the show.
I liked it. It was different, AEW continues to evolve with the way they shoot things in their promos and having all this talent here, so I'm really a fan of it. All right, and then we have Lance Archer defeat Alan Angels. It was a match that happened. It was a squash. Congratulations to Lance Archer.
Congratulations to Lance Archer.
Absolutely. All right, the best friends go on to defeat, I guess, the other best friends, Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa. Big win for the best friends defeating Kenny Omega, man.
It was a big win for them. Good match, a lot of comedy. Chris Jericho was on commentary, which I guess we'll talk about. It was very comedic, over the top. I thought it was fun. It was a lot different than what we've seen in the past. This is kind of what Kenny likes to do. It's kind of going back to the DDT days where he can have fantastic, over the top athletic matches, or he can just be an idiot and we can wrestle with people putting thongs on people's faces.
I mean, I guess so, man. You know, I forgot on commentary it was Tony Schiavone and Le Champion, Chris Jericho. Really, really good stuff, man. Jericho, he's a gem, and you gotta love Tony Schiavone. You know, back from those old NWA days in the late '80s, going through WCW until what he's doing now. Even did some he did some baseball, right? Yeah, when he was away from the wrestling business.
Well, Tony Schiavone still does radio for the Georgia Bulldogs football team.
Well, there you go. Tony Schiavone. Generational talent. We can say it here.
Great barista.
Unbelievable guy. Unbelievable guy. Alright, and then we have the fight package for Jon Moxley and the Big Hurt, Jake Hager. What are your thoughts? Leading up to their AEW Championship match next week.
I thought it was really good. It was kind of filmed in multi-parts. This was the episode of stay-at-home promos. You had this one, Jake the Snake. You had the Matt Hardy one. And I thought this one was really good. Jon Moxley just kind of doing it, just kind of on his side, talking for himself. And you have Jake Hager, who probably can't, cut the promo the same that Jon Moxley can, having, his wife and his trainer kind of talk him up a little bit as well. So I thought it was good training montage, very sports-like feel. And I'm excited to see what they do. Jim Ross will be on the call. It's going to take place at Daly's Place. He kind of spoiled it a few weeks ago, saying that he thought it was a damn good match. So hopefully they can, do something special.
Yes, Jake Hager gave us a drop for the Bullet Cast a few years back.
But nothing tops the Zack Sabre Jr. one.
I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, dude, that was such a great drop. I might have to start playing drops again at the beginning of episodes.
Maybe. All right. Hikaru Shida defeats Britt Baker in a really, really solid match. I think Britt Baker earned some more respect from the boys in the IWC with this performance. What do you say? I thought this match was really good. I know it's not really a high bar, but I think this might be one of, if not the best, women's match that they've had in AEW. I thought it was, great, hard-hitting, told a good story. It had the storyline backing with Britt Baker and Schita doing their thing last week. So, I really enjoyed this. I thought it could have gone either way. They had some really good near falls in an empty arena crowd, which is something that I haven't really seen thus far. So I thought that was really good. So, good on you.
I know, it was really cool to see Adam Cole's Bay, kind of just bleeding it out, fighting, really going after it. I loved it. Sheeta got out of the lockjaw and hits that, I guess that low running knee is her finish, and I thought it was great, man, I really did. Alright, moving on from that, Brody Lee, the Exalted One, defeats Lee Johnson, and he had another video package that played of him downplaying his minions. What are your thoughts on the match, and what are your thoughts on the video package?
The package was a good package. It was kind of a small package.
It doesn't beat Austin Aries' package.
It doesn't. Austin Aries has the best package in the game.
It's a vegan package.
There you go. It was fine. The package. It was still on that Vince McMahon isms type thing. And then the match itself. It was a squash match. Brody Lee going over strong. Just kind of waiting for someone to poke their head out and challenge him.
Yeah, I don't know where this is going, but we'll see. All right, and Matt Hardy, oh yes. He talks about how Vanguard 1 will never join the Inner Circle. And what did he call Jericho? Lay whole ass. There we go. I thought that was funny. What are your thoughts on Matt Hardy? Or what is this, Damascus Hardy? This incarnation of this over 3,000-year-old vessel?
Pretty much the same gimmick that he's been doing back in TNA. Yes, it is Damascus now, so it's a little bit different. But overall, I think it's good. It's kind of in the early stages, so I think maybe they're kind of treading lightly right now, not going too over the top, but I think that's going to change after this match he's going to have with Chris Jericho.
Absolutely. Alright, and then the main event was the first part of the TNT Championship tournament. You have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, accompanied by his lovely wife, Brandy, and he defeats the Perfect 10, the chairman, Shawn Spears. There was a guardrail spot, there was table spots, but Cody got the win. And there was a promo he did that aired on AEW's YouTube channel. I think we'll talk about it more in depth next week. But he talks about how he doesn't want to become the TNT champion. He needs it because he can never challenge for the World Championship again. And I thought this was a very nice showing by Cody Rhodes and Shawn Spears, you know. Not too many people kick out of the Crossroads, and he kicked out of it, so he went for another one. You know, he pinned him with the figure four, which I don't think I've really ever seen that finish, you know. Even when Flair was doing it back in the day, all the Flair matches I've seen. So I thought that was a really unique finish to the match.
I thought the match was good, hard hitting. You know, it had a lot of not outside interference, but you know, it had like the table spot and the ringside stuff. So, I mean, it was a good, hard hitting match. Went a little long, I would say, but I thought the finish itself. I don't think I'm the biggest fan of it. I mean, it is different, but I think normally when you do like a submission pin, it's because they passed out. I didn't really understand how Shawn Spears was like twitching and like moving, but yet he was unable to answer the 3 count. So that part it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I think overall the match was good. And I thought maybe we were going to have 2 matches for the TNT tournament this week, but I guess it makes sense kind of spreading everything out, you know, have 1 match every single week for until maybe Double or Nothing, but it's not looking so hot for that right now.
Dude, it isn't. I haven't booked any travel for it at all because I was still waiting back to hear from the AEW media team to see what was going on, man. So, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I am thinking. I'm making a serious commitment to go to SummerSlam though, in Boston, the TD Garden. I think that'd be really cool because I think they will do the Hall of Fame that weekend. So that'd be nice, you know. Hall of Fame, a takeover, SummerSlam, biggest party of the summer. Brandon, I think we should make that happen, man.
Well, unlike you, I have pretty much bought everything up until this point. I'm about 80% sure that Double or Nothing is not going to happen, so I'm just kind of waiting for the official announcements. The MGM still is going to have bookings available in May, but I'm hoping that gets canceled so that I can get a full refund on that. But, I mean, I'm just kind of sitting there waiting to see what happens, how long everything kind of takes, but my goal is that maybe the Extreme Rules here in San Jose in July still happens. Not going to that, but I'm hoping that possibly we can finally get that San Jose takeover we've been promised, and maybe we get it that Saturday before, which I think would be on my birthday.
Oh my god, that would be the greatest birthday present for you, dude.
Maybe.
There we go. Alright, Superstar Spotlight, who do we got? You know I gotta go with my boy Cody Rhodes. An impeccable performance, great promo from this week. And as the storyline moves along with him potentially going head-to-head with Lance Archer in the finals of this tournament for the TNT Championship. Brandon, who do you have?
My Superstar Spotlight, I think it's someone we haven't done in a while, and I'll give it to John Cena. I think we haven't... I've gone back and I've watched the Boneyard match, and I've gone and watched the Firefly Funhouse match again, and I mean, I still would say that the Boneyard match was a better match, but I am just, it's like, as Shrek says, it's like an onion. There was just so many layers, and I think that people who, I might just be me reading too much into it, but I just really like the story that they told at the Firefly Funhouse, and I think there's just so many little things in the story they told of John Cena and everything was so fantastic. And who knows, is John Cena ever coming back, or whatever's going to happen, but the follow-up is key to see what they do with Bray Wyatt and or John Cena. But I just think what they did with the Firefly Funhouse was so creative and such a great story that they told that bears repeating.
Yeah, no, that's very true. John had a hell of a performance. I loved all the little nuances and the digs at him and all that other stuff that was going on. Brandon, tell us about our promo pick of the week.
Well, This promo pick is a promo pick and also kind of a segment pick. We have Shawn Michaels' retirement speech from Monday Night Raw, March 29th, 2010. As Phillip said, it's been about 10 years since Shawn Michaels retired, and there was a little blip in Saudi Arabia, which does kind of tarnish his legacy.
Nope. That did not happen. That did not happen. Shawn Michaels' last match, WrestleMania 26. That's the last.
Well, his last match in North America.
No, that's his last match ever.
In the Western Hemisphere.
Dude, don't make me get Will Smith out here. Don't make me get the pen to wipe our memories, dude. I don't think your memories have truly been wiped. I don't remember anything else that happened. I honestly don't.
Well, anyways, it was a good speech, very emotional and everything that you come to know and love. And yeah, what are your thoughts, Phillip?
It's one of the best speeches. He talked about he didn't mention the screw job head on, but he said, Bret Hart had every right to say the things he said about me back in those days and how he's sorry. And, he talked about how he's going home to his wife and his kids and, thanked Hunter for being his friend and dealing with him when nobody really wanted to be around him back in those days, in the 90s during the Click days. And it was a really great speech, man. It's Shawn. I just watched the Untold from WrestleMania 21, him versus Kurt. One of the best matches you'll ever see. Just Shawn, I've said it so many times, he wasn't just the best in-ring performer of the 90s. The greatest in-ring performer in the history of this business. An unpeccable, nobody matches up, nobody stands a chance. His ability to sell, make you think he's really getting the shit kicked out of him, and then at that last second, throws that super kick when a super kick actually meant something, kicks you right in the face, and the match is over, the job has been done, Sexy Boy's playing, and he's making his way back up the aisle, going back through the curtain, ready to do it again the next night. Love Shawn, love him. Alright, our closed match pick of the week. Edge, the Rated R Superstar, defends his World Heavyweight Championship against Alberto Del Rio. WrestleMania 27 from April 3rd, 2011. This was Edge's last match. We just hit the 9-year anniversary of it last week, and then, of course, he wrestled at WrestleMania a few weeks ago. And yeah, man, it's one of those things where now knowing what you know, if you look back at it, you're kind of like, oh, was he really soaking it in? Was this really his last match? What'd you think?
Well, he said on the 24th that he kind of had an inkling that maybe something was up, but he just, for some reason, he kind of took in the crowd a little bit more than he normally did. And, I mean, now that we know now, I mean, it's kind of, this match is kind of not a classic, but kind of like a forgotten little gem, I would say. I mean, you got Christian there. You even got Brodus Clay out there being the heavy for Alberto Del Rio. So that's a little fun fact for you guys. There you can flex on all your wrestling friends with that one.
I guess so. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the Bulletcast today. Follow us on Twitter at Bulletcast, Instagram, The Bulletcast, YouTube channel, The Bulletcast. Email is bulletcast2 and the number 2, sweetswet@gmail.com. 99.9 FM, KW in Watsonville. Whenever we return to the radio, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, and Patreon. That's going to do it for Brandon and myself. He'll do another Under the Radar sometime in the near future. And as for me, I might do another Complex Conversations, might do a Black Power ranking, or I might just wait until next Thursday to do another podcast. That's going to do it for you boys. We will talk to you next time.
This is gonna burn. When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek. We are the elite, and you are the weak, and I will always get.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.